Today, this is for you. Sorry, our street really should be a one-way street, but it isn't, and therefore you quite often hear a lot of madness going on out the front. Anyway, I want to speak to you today if you want to do more than one thing. If you want to have more than one income stream, if you want variety and juiciness in your day, your week, your month, and to create this space where this is all okay. In fact, it's brilliant and we can see the advantages of it. So to give you a little backstory, when I moved to London in 2000, 23 years ago, I came down... I came down here to train as an actor. And because that was quite an unusual career choice at the time. I was the only one who I knew who was doing that sort of thing. I also had never met an actor who had ever been paid to be an actor. So you could say I was on the back foot to begin with. But anyway, I moved down to London and I came with very much the reality that I would be out of work a lot. And this, this reality was probably good because it meant that I didn't kind of get my hopes up too much. But actually my early years of being an actor were the opposite. I got an agent from my showcase and then I got 2 jobs back to back. And I actually left the course 5 months early. So I was off to the races. I was out there doing all of the things, but I was under no illusion that because acting is contract work, that I would just be like, oh my goodness, I'm just going to retire on this money and not do anything and just wait for the phone to ring. Because that, even then, London 2003, it was still expensive to live here and I needed to live. It wasn't just a case of me relaxing. So I knew that I was going to have to find other things that I was going to do. And what I discovered was, having tried a few different things, where I could, needed to make choices that were going to fit in with my personality, my circumstances, and ultimately I would feel good and useful. And I'm not work shy in the slightest. I mean, I've worked in a crisp factory and that takes a level of, of something. Anyway, but I figured out that if I could find work that I enjoyed and that I wanted to be part of, then everything else was going to be a breeze because I wasn't going into auditions and I'm still not, I'm still a jobbing actor all these years later. I wasn't going into auditions feeling, oh gosh, I hate my life, I hate my work and I really need this job. I didn't want to have any of that kind of stuff. So for the last 23 years, 20 professionally, I have really recognized the power of doing lots of different things. So 10 years kind of went by of me doing sort of lots of freelance jobs. And then in 2013, I qualified as a coach. And then the speaking and the writing and the podcast all has come over the last 10 years. So one thing that I can begin with now is asking you, how are you speaking about the fact that A, you want to do more than one thing, or B, you already are? Because I have definitely had this experience that when I've said that I do lots of things, people have often put their own lack of knowledge maybe, or other things on me. So I've been told that I'm very confusing, that I can't make my mind up, that I should stay in my own lane, that I've been greedy doing all of these different things. And it's quite interesting because often these people actually don't know me. It's an opening conversation. And again, if people did know me, I would never be like, hi guys, let me tell you about all of the, I've never got that kind of intention. And it's been quite interesting noticing how people respond. And also when I deliver what I do with a slight edge of cautiousness, that seems to bring out that side in people, because they can smell it, they can feel it, that maybe I'm like, I don't really believe in this, or I feel a bit uncomfortable saying it in this way. And I tell you what, as soon as I learned to own the fact that I did lots of things, so many more doors opened. And what I realized was that not only did all of the doors open, they all complemented each other. And even though the doors and the roles were different, it's almost like it became some sort of living, breathing orchestra of all the different notes, all the different rhythms, all the different frequencies. And it was really amazing. And what I found was, as soon as I owned that, each of the different roles complemented each other. And I begun to notice how each one of them was enhancing the next. So in a very basic level, as soon as I became a coach, I saw that it enhanced my acting. So I noticed all my limiting beliefs. I noticed and I found ways to work with confidence. Or I was explaining this to my son last night when he was watching the Beckham program, and those moments where Beckham in that documentary, he has to get that corner. The world is watching. They always say that, don't they? The world is watching at Wembley this afternoon. And I said to him, there will be times in your life when you know you have to perform, when you know that you have to deliver. And I know that so much of the work that I've done in terms of my coaching has helped me in terms of those acting jobs when I'm at the third or the fourth audition and it's game time. Like, there's no, I don't really mind if I get the job or not, or I'm just grateful to be in the room. No, there's sometimes when a casting director has really fought for you to be there, has really celebrated you, and you don't want to let them down. You don't want to let your agent down. You don't want to let yourself down as well. But one thing that I've also discovered is, when I keep coming back to this analysis of a portfolio career, it really jars some people, because the old traditional marketing thing is do one thing to one person. And that is great if you can do that, if that works with your personality. There are some people who like to just simply do one thing, and they have that very sort of in, out, shake it all about kind of business where they actually just, maybe accountants, for example, they might just want to do self-employed tax returns. That's all they want to do all day. They don't want to do anything else. They don't want to talk about mortgages. They don't want to talk about, inheritance tax. They don't want to talk about capital gains, just throwing in a bit of money knowledge for you there. They don't want to do that. They just want to do the tax returns, and they want to be the best person at that. I know if I did the exact same thing, and I know this because I played the whole tape through, I know that if I did exactly the same thing day in, day out, I would not be working in the best way possible. In fact, it just would not work for me. However much I love all of these things, I know due to my personality, I would always be somebody who would be sparked by different ideas, because once again, that's who I am in the world. And this is why, I don't necessarily need to do the same thing with the same person every single day. Or I don't know, I just like variation. That's the way that it works for me. But what I have found is, when it comes to talking about business, when it comes to selling things, I guess my tagline is design and deliver your portfolio career / your personal brand. But within that, I talk about lots of different things. I talk about money, I talk about speaking, I talk about visibility, I talk about content, I talk about goal setting. It's all within that umbrella. And I've had so many coaches over the years say, why don't you just streamline? Why don't you just narrow it down? Why don't you just do one thing? But here's why I know personally this works for me. Like I've mentioned earlier, the circumstances, the personality, but also what extra thing I give my clients. And I believe that there are so many people out there who are teaching formulas. They're teaching just do this, followed by this, and then you'll get this result. And for some of their clients and their customers, they will, because it works for them. That kind of fits in with their personality. But there will be so many people that will be outside of that ideal client. And the way that I have seen it over the years is looking at, and this is where I would invite you to do the exercise yourself, looking at what you bring to the table as a freelancer or a portfolio career person. And I know for me personally that I can work with people in terms of the context of their whole business. So say somebody came to me for create your income pie work. So pricing and packaging. Now I could sit down with that person. I could do the numbers, we could map out a strategy, and I could say, I just worked with a client like this person, let's just rinse and repeat what this person did. Let's just not take into account anything else. And yes, on one level, there are some principles that could be taken into that next client. But where I really help people is to build something within the entirety of their business. For example, you can have the best money strategy. You can say, here are all my income streams. This is how I'm going to set out my shop. This is what I'm going to sell. This is my one-to-one stuff. This is what I'm going to talk about. But if you can't physically sell it and speak about it and make content about it and say why you're the best person for this, it's not going to work for you. And so these are the sorts of checks, and this is why I do more than one thing. And I mean, then they are all connected. I'm not saying, now I'm going to teach you how to make a souffle on Saturday. Souffle Saturday, very nice. But I'm not your person for that. But as somebody who has had this portfolio career for 20 years, I've always got little ears and eyes looking at the whole situation. So somebody might say to me, I feel like I should maybe do a membership because I've seen somebody doing this and they've got 50 people and they charge £100 per month, and that is $5,000 a month guaranteed income. And I will say, how does that feel? Would you enjoy that? Do you want to have a membership in that way? And in a way, they've gone so far down the idea of like, this is a tried and tested thing that maybe I should do. They haven't even questioned whether or not it would work for them, or if it would feel good for them, or if it would be the best use of their time. And so what we must do, and here is how I can help you, is look at all aspects of it. It's almost like putting on an item of clothes. You might be, you remember when you used to go to a school disco when you were a kid? And I mean, there's a picture of myself. I'll see if I can find it. Wow. I think I was about 11. I had a multi-print dress on. I had these massive, really ugly platforms. I had all my necklaces on. I'd put loads of stuff in my hair, probably hair mascara or something like that. Had bangles, like the whole thing. And when I look at this outfit, I'm like, wow, you really don't know where to look first because it's all quite a thing. But what happened in there is that back in the day, it wouldn't matter if your like great dress or your t-shirt with the sweater shop on or whatever it was, it didn't matter if it didn't go with anything else. You just wanted to wear that thing. And what we're looking for here is to really build that personal brand on integrity, on strong foundations, in a way so it all fits together. So you create that know, like, and trust. And one of the things that I'm always talking to about clients is, how is this going to sell and grow without you being there? Because when we have personal brand in the title, sometimes we make it really personal. Well, it has to be personal, and this is the way that I have to think about it. It's all about me. However, it being all about you all of the time could mean that you are opening your business 24/7, that you have no boundaries. So it's really important that we build something that, yes, is personable, yes, is with intention, yes, feels and looks brilliant, but also is very, very clear that it can grow and thrive and maybe be purchased without you being there. So a couple of things to round it up. Number one, notice how you're talking about yourself and your business. And if there is hesitation, if there is uncertainty, if there is a bit of squirming, ask yourself why and invite yourself to explore further. Secondly, what is going on in terms of your different roles? And is there anything in your business that feels icky, out of alignment? I'm not really sure why I started this. You know, all of those things. I want to invite you, and I can support you to do this, to really get into the mix. I actually did this because I'm baking these cookies for the cake sale tomorrow. And I looked in our baking cupboard, and it's one of those cupboards that goes quite far back, and you have that line at the front of things, and you're like, oh, it's that. And it was only until I started to move them, I was like, oh, you know, when you discover things at the back and you weren't expecting. So that's one of my jobs this weekend. I'm actually going to take it all out and have a good look and see what's going on. And that is a really great time of year. This is rather a really great time of year to do this work, to explore what you're going to take with you in the next year, what's in alignment. Because ultimately, if you don't do this work, and if you're not conscious about what's going on, it's the equivalent of having all of your tabs open in your brain all at the same time. And that, my friend, is very exhausting. We know this. We know this. I hope you've got lots from today. If you have, please tell me. I would love to hear. Equally, if you want to book a strategy session with me, or if you're not sure what you want, but you're like, a lot of this stuff that you were saying, I feel like it's what I need, send me a DM. Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what you need. Please tell me, sorry, if my mum heard this, she'd be very appalled. Please tell me where your gaps are. So those pieces that are maybe not easy to tick off on your to-do list. You might write things like marketing, visibility. I've done it myself. And then I'm like, yeah, I don't really know what that is. Okay, I need to look at that. Let me know all of these things. Or you can use my messenger button on my website. It's just the button in the in the bottom right-hand corner. Would love to hear from you and get something in the diary. All right, lots of love. And tell me what you need, please. And I can point you in the right direction. But in the meantime, own what it is that you do. Own your talents, your skills, your expertise. I imagine, like me, you've been around a long time. And with that, you bring so much, so many skills, experience, your story, what you've seen, the lessons. But also don't discount the frustrations, the hard lessons, the tricky times. They all are useful going forward. It's almost like that moment where you know that you can shortcut the process for somebody of like, oh, by the way, never do that. I did that. It was a nightmare. It's all good. I think when we think about coming to the table, it's like we have to put on our best shiny self. But the fact that you've lived and experienced and maybe failed along the way, I know certainly I have. It has all brought me to this point, and you to this point too. Right, I'm going to go and get my kids from school. Let me know where you want to go next, and I'll see you soon. Bye.